you're with Libby from libbystamps.com, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia, and today I'm bringing you a technique called split colouring. Now, it's a lovely technique and it yields 2 cards from it, so it's great to do that way in that you get the 2 cards. Alright, so we're using today a piece of Sweet Sugar Plum and a piece of Whisper White. I'm using Basic Grey Archival ink and Birthday Blooms, which is a lovely stamp set with a nice large flower on it, and it's got some nice sentiments as well. We're also using our watercolour pencils, which I've put in one of our clear mount cases, and clear embossing powder and a Stampin' Majig, and our embossing buddy, of course. What we'll do is do our Versamark first. So I'm going to bring in my Sweet Sugar Plum piece. I'm just going to put a mark on my, no I'm not, because I've got it set up there. Alright, so I've lined it up on my grid paper like that, so I know where I'm stamping. And I decided I'd stamp on my Stampin' Majig plastic sheet first so I could line it up when I stamp. Now, if you haven't got a Stampin' Majig, you really need to get one, and I'm just lining this up so that it's on the bottom of the card. Alright, like that. And I'm just going to put pencil mark down the bottom corner of each side, so I know that's where I'm going to put my sheet. And I'm going to just move that for a second because I forgot to do my embossing buddy. So go over, it's just to get rid of your finger marks, any oil out of your fingers. Even though they might be clean, they still seem to retain a bit of oil, and any static. So it's important that you do that when you're doing this technique so that you get it nicely embossed with clear embossed powder. Then I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Majig, and that's where I want it stamped. And I'm going to ink up with Versamark. Now, because this is a large stamp, I like to bring my ink to the stamp so I can ensure that it's got plenty of ink on it. So that's Versamark ink I've used. Hold my Stampin' Majig, remove the plastic sheet, bring in my stamp and stamp down. Alright, and there we have our image on our piece of Sweet Sugar Plum. And then I'm going to bring in some clear emboss powder, and I'm just going to emboss that image. So just put your clear powder all over it. Make sure you get all the bits. Give it a tap off. And see how we don't have any excess embossing powder in little parts? That's because we used our embossing buddy. So I'm just going to heat set that. Alright, there we have our image on our Sweet Sugar Plum, all nicely embossed. Then I'm going to bring in some Whisper White, which is exactly the same measurement, and I'm going to line it up again, line up my image sheet, and this time I'm using Basic Grey Archival ink, and I'm bringing the ink to the stamp to ensure that I get good coverage of ink on this large flower. Now, I'll just make sure I've got everything lined up again. Bring in my Stampin' Majig, remove my plastic sheet, bring in my flower again and stamp down. So that's all the stamping for the moment. I'm now going to bring in my watercolour pencils. Alright, so bring in my watercolour pencils. Now, even though your watercolour pencils are brights, they coordinate nicely with Stampin' Up's colours, so it doesn't really matter that they're brights and I'm using in colours. they'll all coordinate. Now, I'm not going to make you watch while I colour, so I'm going to quicken up the video and I'll be back in a minute.
Hey, if you want to play, make it a better place. It'll take creation, imagination. Try to draw outside the line. Let us see inside your mind. You'll find inspiration. All I'm saying is you can do it. I want to hear you say, I am independent. I am dedicated. Doing it my way, doing it my way. Yes, I am. I am in control. I am. Watch me go. Doing it my way, doing it my way. Can you hear me say, yes, I am. Lead, inspire destiny. Require every dream to believe. Take the chance, lead the dance, and run with what is in your heart. Let the magic start. You're in charge. Yes, you can. What's the plan? Come on, let's do this and do it now. I wanna hear you shout. I am independent. I am dedicated. Doing it my way, doing it my way. Yes, I am. I am in control. I am. Watch me go. Doing it my way, doing it my way. Can you hear me say, yes, I am. You can do it, change and grow. You can have it, don't you know? You can be it, anything, anything you want. I am independent. I am dedicated. Doing it my way, doing it my way. Yes, I am. I am in control. I am. Watch me go. Doing it my way, doing it my way. Can you say, yes, I am independent. I am dedicated. Doing it my way, doing it my way.
There's our colouring done. Now, what you do then is put the two pieces of card together, and because you've used your Stampin' Magic and stamped them both in the right same place, you can bring your trimmer in and put them down. So I'm going to cut them at about 7, I think. So yes, so 7 centimeters or 2 3/4 inches. So this piece is 4 inches by 5 1/2, maybe 4 inches by 5 1/2, and you're going to cut it 2 3/4, or it's 14.3 by 10 and you're going to cut it 7. So you just cut up like that, and you have 2 cards ready to make. So we'll put one pink, one sweet sugar plum, and one whisper white together. See how they fit beautifully? And one whisper white and one sweet sugar plum. Lovely. So that'll give us our 2 cards. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. Bye for now.